good, y'all? What's happening with y'all, America and worldwide? I want to welcome y'all to the first episode of the second season of ZAGGINS Do America. Um, this show is a little different than Rockstar Life. Rockstar Life is a lot of fun, games. We do talk about certain topics, but on ZAGGINS Do America, we really get knee deep into some things that's going on from a different perspective. Again, this is not an apologetic show, not a politically correct show. So, if you have a weak skin, weak ears, this is not the show for you. Um, I do ask that y'all do, comment, subscribe to the Rockstar Life Network, show support, share. But I really do want to hear feedback from you about certain things that we speak of. So I figured what would be the best way to start off this episode? And then it hit me like, okay, let's talk about police brutality. It is to say the least, an epidemic. It's an epidemic. Not just brutality, but we're going to focus more on the police killings. So we're going to speak of 4 different examples, a couple of statistics, and we're going to talk a little bit. Okay. So let's start this off. Okay. So we're gonna double back a little bit. I know, unless you've been living under a rock, I know that you've heard about Amber Geiger, Botham John, that situation in Dallas, Texas. Amber Geiger, 31 years old. She was 4 years into being in the police department in Dallas. Came home disgruntled on her phone, trying to get some ass. Okay, she was trying to get some dick and not paying no attention. And so she says, goes to the wrong door, opens the door, sees this guy, Botham John, in there, and opens fire on him. He's in here watching TV in his underwear, in his boxers, eating ice cream. The house smells like weed. He smokes weed. So those things are some things that I'm sorry, if you're a trained officer, you should know to notice your surroundings. I don't believe a goddamn thing she says. I believe that she is a racist pig. She's actually had texts on her phone where she was talking about getting a German Shepherd dog. And one of her friends was saying, got to be careful about those dogs. They're racist. And she was like, it's okay, I am too. I mean, things of that nature. And even on social media, she's had some very racial things that she has said. So, the bitch is lying, okay? I don't believe that she walked into anywhere unknowingly and unbeknownst to her, she just pulls out her weapon and starts to shooting. I mean, we're not trained police officers, most of us, and we'll know when we walked into somewhere that ain't ours. I know when I ain't walked in my own house and I'm blindfolded. You know how your house smells? You can feel the aura, the vibrations that come off of your house where your furniture is sitting and things of that nature. You know these things. So for her to not know that, and then to say, and then after she shoots him, she's on her phone still texting about getting some dick. She texts her other colleagues and say, I fucked up. Just a sad situation where I think she thought she could get away with some shit. And I think she stayed on top of him. She said she went to the wrong floor. She stayed on the 4th floor, went to the 3rd floor. Well, when you knew that there was a red mat and you didn't have a red mat, because obviously I don't think she was sitting here walking with her phone, walking this way, texting. So you had to look down. Most people when they're texting, they're looking down. I know you've seen that mat alone just said, that's not my career. When the guy stood up, the first thing she should have done was look around. Split second to decide what had happened. But she didn't, and she opened fire because she knew what she was doing. To make matters worse, it took an hour and a half for the jury to deliberate, and they only gave her 10 years. She had a span of 5 years to 99 years. Now, I'm a hood guy. I've been in these streets for a while. I know for a fact that if I do a crime, I don't get a span of 5 to 99 years. That's just unbelievable, especially for a cop, to be able to get that big of a gated community, a gateway of this is how long you can get. We can give you 5 years or we give you 100 years. Like, there's no in between. You know what I'm saying? So they gave her 10 years. Mind you, Botham Jean's um, birthday had happened during the trial time. So that's why the prosecutor wanted to give her 28 years. Now, Botham Jean was 26 years old. He was an accountant. Family members said that he always made sure he wore dress shirt, polo shirts, and that he would stay driving below the speed limit because he just didn't want no smoke with the popos. Good guy, decent guy. You know what I'm saying? No threat. I don't care if this guy was as big as Hulk Hogan or some shit, or The Rock. You're still going to look around. You could even notice the TV ain't yours. It had to be some kind of light on in there. You saw what she was doing. She knew exactly what she was doing. So they only gave her 10 years, which I think she's probably going to serve maybe a year. And I think they're going to sneak her out the back door and tell her to shut the fuck up. And then she's going to emerge a couple of years later with a book and a fucking interview or some stupid shit. The Amber Geiger story, some dumb shit. So, you know, that was in Dallas. And now here's an interesting piece of event that went with that. There was a witness, an eyewitness named Jason Brown, who stayed in that complex as well, who heard what happened. He heard what happened. He said she didn't announce herself, all of this stuff, like all the things that you would need to have convicted her, you know, to fry. So he did his job. He gave his testimony. And then I think like a week and a half later, he's dead. Here's the funny part about this shit. Okay. So Jason Brown's found dead after he happens to be a witness on a murder trial for a cop, right? He's 28 years old. Like 5 minutes away. He moved 5 minutes away from where that incident happened with Botham Jean and Amber Geiger. And they say it was a drug deal that went bad. It was 12 pounds of weed. It was 143 grams of cartridges, $4,000. They said that he got into it with this guy. It went bad. And I think they say he attempted to shoot the guy and the guy shot him too and took his book bag and ran. Ironic that they would now paint the narrative that this is some drug dealing hoodlum thug, which is typical for society and typical for the media and typical for the law to do. That's what these fuckers do. But he was shot in the chest and the mouth. Now, if he was such this drug dealing type of person, you don't think the police would have did their background on this nigga? I seen background checks at a fucking Walmart more extensive than what they did on him. So, like, what the fuck was that about? So you let him get on the stand, on trial. Now, y'all did this to try to discredit his cop. I think it was a setup. We know that he's a little hood nigga out here doing this little thing. He don't really cause too much problem. He ain't no extensive record. But we're going to let this guy get out here and get up on the stand. And then when things go bad, when things go horribly wrong, we're going to say, okay, we're going to give you this case, it's 10 years. Amber, and then we're going to go back and say that the guy who was the witness was not a credible witness, and he's dead now, so you can't bring him back for the appeal trial. You can't bring him back, ironically, and it's just so many loopholes, and some of this shit is just plain in your face. I mean, it's literally in your face, you know. But it's ridiculous. It's stupid. Like, and we don't get it, y'all. That they just playing the fuck out of us. They doing the most obvious now in our face, and we just sitting here taking that shit. You get what I'm saying? Now, that was his case. That was the Botham Jean case. We're going to see how that goes. A couple of weeks later, in Fort Worth, Texas, Tatiana Jefferson, 28 years old, college grad, was shot and killed in her home while babysitting or playing with her 8-year-old nephew, playing video games. A neighbor called on a non-emergency call to get somebody to do a welfare check because her front door was open. It was 2 a.m. Now, in that scenario, I can see why a neighbor would call on a welfare check. She probably was a good, upstanding neighbor, and they were like, okay, well, her door's open at 2 a.m. That's not normal. Let me call just to see. I don't know if there was a car out there or anything. Okay, so Aaron Dean, who's a police officer with Fort Worth, Texas Police Department, uh, was the one who arrived on the scene. Now, on a welfare check, you would think that they would come to the front door. Front door is wide open. Most cops are fearless. They have guns, all of this stuff. They could call for backup. They could do whatever they want. But yet he never did this. He went and took it upon himself to go around the back of the apartment or the back of the house. Now, mind you, Tatiana has a license to carry her gun. She's at home with her. She's a young black woman with her 8-year-old nephew. No law against playing at 2 a.m. in the morning with your 8-year-old video games. No law against having your own gun in your house. You Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. There's also a castle law where, I got the right to protect my castle. Okay. As I would let somebody creep around my shit, I'm grabbing my shit too. But he decides to go around to the back door. You hear him on the body cam. There's body cam footage. And he says, police, I think he said, police, put your hands up or something like that. But in that split moment, he had already started shooting through the window. So he didn't get an identification. He didn't get clarification of who she was and if she belonged there. He didn't case out the joint to see everything else that was going on. She had her gun when he looked through the window and saw her. And she probably was ready to bust through that window like, who the fuck is this in the back of my motherfucking shit? But she never really, it wasn't like he said, well, she pulled the gun out on me while I'm coming around and my life's in danger. I got to shoot. I've seen police use their intercoms and sirens for a person crossing the goddamn street. And you mean to tell me this man didn't make any effort at all to acknowledge himself or to find out who the fuck was in that house? And you didn't go through the front door, you decided to go through the back door. Okay? So what he did was he resigned before they got him for the charge. So that kind of saved him. He tried to save his ass by going ahead and quitting first and then take the charge. That way, if they give him an acquittal or anything of that nature, he can also always go back and get another job being in law enforcement because he resigned before that happened. Crazy shit. Crazy fucking shit. So right now, there's a big uproar about this, and Fort Worth has really got some shit in their hands at this point. Because right after the Botham Jean shit and the Amber Geiger shit, now y'all got to sit here and come up with something. Okay? Y'all can't be sitting here acting like, y'all can't do the same Amber Geiger shit. That shit ain't gonna work. Ain't no judge gonna come down and ain't no judges giving hugs and no. You motherfuckers got to make an example, okay? You have to make an example. Because it's too coincidental that in Texas alone, these are back-to-back cases of police negligently murdering people. They're not getting homicides and manslaughter. They're getting murder, which is like the big boy, okay? So we're going to see how that case unfolds on Zaggins Do America. We're going to come back and keep talking about that. But that is another case that, here we are once again, the scenario of incompetent officers. Let me give y'all some more examples of some stuff you may not know. Because, see, the media has a great way of telling you things that they want you to know. And they know the things to not let you know. So I'm in Atlanta. I'm based in Atlanta. I'm born and raised in Atlanta. In Atlanta, in 2015, there was an officer named Robert Olson, okay? And there was a victim by the name of Anthony Hill. Anthony Hill was an Air Force vet. He was mentally ill. He had some reports called on him for, they say he was walking around the complex, his apartment complex, and he was knocking on doors. Not a major threat, but enough to get police called. Robert Olson comes out there. He sees this guy. He's unarmed. Uh, he killed him. But he didn't get a murder charge. This happened in 2015. They did not give a verdict on what happened until 2019, October 1st. Right at the same time, the Amber Geiger thing happened. Right? This is in Atlanta. Robert Olson is a white man. Anthony Hill is a black man. The shooting happened just a couple of months after the Michael Brown shooting in Ferguson. See where we going with this shit? So he shoots him twice. 4 years later, they do a verdict for him. Robert Olson gets acquitted of murder. And he gets charged with aggravated assault, even though he made false statements on top of that. Aggravated assault, acquitted of murder, false statements, policeman. Unarmed man, butt naked, shot twice. Let's go to Connecticut. In April 16, there was a guy named Paul Witherspoon. He was 21 years old. And Stephanie Washington, which was the passenger in the car. Well, in Connecticut, in New Haven, Connecticut, they were at a convenience store. And there was a call on the dispatch that said that there was an armed robbery for a convenience store that Paul Witherspoon III happened to be at. What had happened actually was he got into an argument with somebody who cut him off in the line at the store. Got in an argument. The owner of that store called the police and said there was an armed robbery in progress. So the police are looking for this car. They pull over the car that matches the description that Paul Witherspoon III and Stephanie Washington was in. The police officer Devin Eaton and Terrence Pollock were the officers. Terrence Pollock is a Yale police officer on the Yale campus. And Devin Eaton, he was a police officer for Connecticut, right? Well, Paul Witherspoon III gets pulled over. They pull him over, tell him the car matches the description. Paul Witherspoon gets out of the car with his hands up. He's cooperating with the police. Hands up. They still shot him, killed him dead. Terrence Pollock goes around to the other side, starts shooting through the passenger side, injuring Stephanie Washington, but she happens to survive. Here's a fun fact. Devin Eaton, the police that did the shooting of Paul Witherspoon III, did not turn on his camera until after he killed him. But little did he know that the camera kind of has a back record on it. So once he turned it on, it actually had already recorded a little bit of the footage that happened so they could see what plainly happened. In Connecticut, they have a different law, like other places have different laws, where they have a choice whether to even show you the video footage. They don't have to show it. They don't have to show it to the public. They don't have to use it in court. Excuse me, but they decided to do it. So these are things that are going on right now, and that case is still a pending case in Connecticut. Paul Witherspoon III and Stephanie Washington, black. Both the officers that shot, black. So it's not just white officers, it's police. Okay? It's just police. These are 4 examples that I've given you already. Recent. All right? So I got some statistics that I want to read past y'all just to give you an alarming wake up, okay? You're watching These Zaggins Do America. I'm your host, Black Magic Leaks. I hope you're enjoying this first episode. We just getting started, y'all. We really about to get to some shit about America. It's time to face it for what it is. Be right back. Welcome back to the ZAGGINS Do America. I'm your host, Black Magic Leaks. You're watching the Rockstar Life Network on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're sharing. Make sure you're commenting up under the post. I want to hear your opinions. And I want you to share and I want you to subscribe. It costs you nothing. It actually costs you nothing to just show some support and hit subscribe. We don't, that's a whole nother episode that I got for y'all that we're going to speak on. But let's get back to what we were talking about with the uncanny police killing of innocent people. So Washington Post does a report. In 2019, it was 709 people killed by the police. In 2018, it was 992. So it was 91 fewer police shootings this year than last year. The year's not up, and I don't know if they've actually counted the Amber Geiger and the Tatiana Johnson case. I don't know if they tried that one yet. In total, that's 1,700 deaths by police in 2 years. Okay? 1,700 deaths. 709 alone this year. Almost 1,000 last year. Okay? 1 in 1,000 black men and boys will be killed by the police. 1 in 1,000, okay? For white males and white young men, 39 in 100,000 for whites. If you know your math, you can see where that is like the numbers are totally off, okay? Black men are 2.5 times higher and likely to be killed by the police. Black women are 1.4 times more likely to be killed by police. So I say this to say this, y'all. What we gonna do about it, America? What the fuck we gonna do about this? We can sit here and talk like I'm doing now and talk about it, or we could do something. Because see, after a while, it's gonna get to a point where people ain't gonna be too nice to the police no more. If you could get out your car like Paul Witherspoon III and have your hands up and still get killed, saying I can't breathe and still get killed, slammed on your back and your spine broken, left outside for 4 hours before anything happens. Things like this that came from the hands of police who we're using and paying to protect and serve our community. And now they are a bigger threat than a criminal or a gangbanger. When do y'all police think it's going to be the point where we going to stop being nice and start busting on y'all? Would it be fair? Y'all bust innocent men and women at all times at alarming rates. Why we can't sit here and do that? We have the right to bear arms, but yet we have to be told when to use it. Yet a police officer can be told, you use yours at will. If you feel threatened, use it. This is the other thing. You carry your gun on your weak side. Your taser is usually on your strong side, from what I heard from police. So where is the taser training? Are anybody teaching these police how to do taser training? Like, so you mean to tell me your first thing that you could come up with is to use a fucking lethal force than an unlethal force? Yet I watch all these other cops in other parts of the country. First thing they use is a taser. Bean bags, things of that nature, mace, whatever. But in America, police feel like they have the right to just play Wild Wild West with our lives. And not only are they doing that to just black men, they're doing it to our black women, our young black women, and to our black kids, our black young men. We're just being taken off the planet at the hands of police, like it's an actual war going on. When the fuck we gonna wake up, y'all? America, when the fuck are we gonna wake up? We can't be stupid to this and eat popcorn and watch the fucking news reports and then gossip at the fucking lunchroom on our break at work and not do nothing about it. Because see, when it happens to you and yours, then you're gonna want somebody to do something about it. So when do we stop taking this? It has to come a point where it stops, y'all. Where are our politicians? Where are our preachers? Where are our street kings at? Where are these people that's going to stand up for us and help us fight the fucking power that be? We're going to continue to talk about this. in more depth on more different episodes. But I would love to hear your comments. Just wanted to wake y'all up to what's going on in our community. And just make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please give your comments. Please subscribe. Please share. If we don't get to talking about it and getting the dialogue, then we'll never get anywhere. But at some point, y'all, we got to do something. Even if you're white, Asian, African, Latina, I don't care what's your race. Inhumanity is inhumanity. We got to do something about it. I'm your host, Damian Black Magic Leaks. I'm sorry, Damian Black Magic Leaks. Y'all know my name. You can catch me on the Rockstar Life Network with the Rockstar Life TV show, These Zaggins Do America, and Black Magic Live. I want to thank y'all for this time. And I just want to tell y'all, be safe, man. Keep your eyes open, man. Fuck Trump. And at this point, fuck the police. I'm out.